Alright, hey everyone, QBKing77 here from ACSyndicate.net, here to do part 2 of our head-to-head competition of the Galaxy S3 and HTC EVO 4G LTE, both Sprint devices. So finishing it off here, I'm going to be going over many different things: speed tests, camera tests, TouchWiz versus Sense, so basically more software related things. So right away, I do want to get into some benchmark tests. I haven't ran any benchmarks yet. I'm actually going to reboot both devices and I'll be back. And I figured you guys will want to watch this. Both have reboot buttons, so if I do want to restart them, I'm just going to tap restart and hit OK. And we will see which one takes longer to reboot itself. That restart button is great. I highly recommend doing that with any device, always rebooting your device, whether it be once a day. That's probably what I recommend to keep everything fresh and loaded up. But as you saw in part 1, and if you didn't see part 1, you definitely want to check that out. But otherwise, if you saw in part 1, the EVO killed the the Galaxy S3 in the boot test, just from a cold start, completely shut off, turning them on at the same time. But it looks like the EVO is taking a while to boot up, to reboot itself. I'm not sure why it's taking so long. Maybe it took a while to close its applications it had running or something. But with the reboot competition, the Galaxy S3 wins just from a reboot within the software. But if you power it off, the EVO kills it. So it looks like, I mean, it depends on whether you hit the reboot button, if you power off your device, on which one boots up faster. So that's pretty interesting. But now that these have rebooted, I'm going to go ahead and run some speed tests. I'm going to go ahead and run Antutu and Quadrant. So those are the two benchmarks that everyone appears to like the most. I did do a comparison between the two on Facebook, actually, well, a poll on Facebook, and it seemed like those were the two that you liked the most. So let's go ahead and let this load on up. Obviously, I haven't opened any applications yet, so it'll be a fresh start for both devices. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into Quadrant Standard, open them up on both devices, and we will run a full benchmark on both of them. Run them at the same time so we can go ahead and see how speed looks on both of them, how basically the 3D graphics will look on the various tests and such. I know Quadrant's probably the most popular benchmark that people do run on their devices, so it will be interesting to see. Another thing I want to point out is, obviously the Galaxy S3 has a menu button, a capacitive menu button, and the EVO 4G LTE does not. You will see within some applications it needs to have a on-screen menu button within the application, which makes the screen look even smaller, because you see you have to have that menu button right there, so it makes it seem like the Galaxy S3 screen is even larger than it already is, even though it is 4.8 against 4.7 anyway. But within this application, because it has a menu button, you don't need to sacrifice some of that screen space within some applications. So that's kind of something to talk about. So you'll see running about the same rate. Looks good on both devices. Again, the colors look a little bit deeper on the Galaxy S3, but it is a little bit brighter on the EVO 4G LTE. So they finished at about the same time, took them about the same pace. If you want to get technical, the EVO did win by less than a second. So let's go ahead and proceed to benchmark results. Galaxy S3 got 4929, and the EVO 4G LTE got 5065. So EVO 4G LTE is the winner there, but not by much. I mean, it is a pretty close contest. It won by a little bit over 100. So there would be the test on Quadrant Standard. We can go ahead and run one more benchmark. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. A lot of people like to watch Quadrant, but I'm going to run Antutu. It's another benchmark everyone likes to run. I myself do as well. You'll see even within this application, it's got to have that on-screen menu button, which sacrifices screen space. So we can go ahead and you'll see I actually did run a test already. So you'll see I got 6040 on Antutu and 6902 on my EVO. So there you have it. I don't even have to run it. So looks like the EVO wins on the benchmark test itself, which is very interesting. So EVO 4G LTE wins there with our benchmark tests. But let's go ahead and get into some software. Alright, so let's look into some software. Obviously, the EVO has Sense 4.0, an overlay, a manufacturer overlay, and the Galaxy S3 has TouchWiz, the TouchWiz user interface. Both are running Ice Cream Sandwich. I believe the EVO has ICS 4.0.3 and the Galaxy S3 has 4.0.4, but obviously they both have their manufacturer overlay. Sense versus TouchWiz, it's more of a personal preference for people. They add different features, like if you pinch in, obviously they have screen previews on both. Both are They look fine. You can rearrange your screens as well, so that's just a little feature there. Obviously the dock bar down at the bottom is different. You have your app drawer button at the right as opposed to the middle on one or the other, but the Galaxy S3's is raised a bit, so it kind of takes away from some screen space, real estate there, which I don't like. I do like having it closer to the bottom like the EVO 4G LTE does have. But overall, both have pretty cool animations in them. Whether you're switching between screens, you'll see it's got kind of a 3D cube effect on the EVO, but kind of just a different effect on the Galaxy S3. But I mean, overall, they're very smooth, flicking between screens and whatnot. I mean, you'll get no lag when running between applications, anything like that. So I mean, real world performance, both of them perform great. The only time I really get lag is when I'm going through these recent running apps, flicking them up. That's really about it on Sense 4.0. I really don't get any lag on either of them though. It's been really great. When I open up the app drawer actually on the EVO, sometimes it stutters a little bit. You'll see it's got that cool animation, but if you don't load it up before, the first time you load it up, it kind of stutters a little bit, which is obviously not too big of a deal, but both open up at about the same rate. You'll see you can flick through your applications. Bloatware, Galaxy S3 by far, not necessarily by far, but it has more bloatware. I'm just not a big fan of the bloatware they include. I do love the Flipboard application. It's a news application. I do really like it. If you haven't checked it out, it's very cool. Maybe I'll do a review video on it. But anyways, besides that though, I mean, you've got Game Hub, you've got Keys Air, Media Hub, more services, and you just really have your Samsung apps. You just kind of have a lot of bloatware on the Galaxy S3. You have bloatware on the EVO though, don't get me wrong. I just think there's a little bit more on the Galaxy S3. The bloatware on the EVO is kind of, it's more helpful too. Not necessarily more helpful, but I find myself using the bloatware more on the EVO as opposed to the Galaxy S3, which is why I say it has more. But it's about the same amount of bloatware. I just think it's more productive on the EVO LTE. So anyways, let's go ahead and check something out with the display. I'm going to go ahead and go into settings and turn the brightness up on both of them so you can kind of see how that looks. Let's go ahead and find that display and gestures. So I go into display, and what I'm going to do is go to brightness on both of them, turn off automatic brightness on both, which is what they're both on of course, and turn it up all the way on both. So again, when you're outside, it's this EVO 4G LTE screen is brighter, so that's both of them all the way up. No big deal there, but software-wise, let's go ahead and get into it. Other things I want to talk about. The settings menu, of course, is a little bit different on both. As you saw, you've got more of a white background as opposed to the black. I'd much rather have black background as opposed to this white. You got a bit of an accordion effect going on with the EVO, and with the Galaxy S3 you have a little bit of an overscroll glow. Not very much. It's a subtle overscroll glow, but you do have it. So just kind of a little different thing that the two different have. You have different, kind of different menu settings. I mean, you have basically your stock wireless and networks up at the top, but you have a personalized setting within the EVO 4G LTE, which allows you to personalize a lot of different stuff. You can have different scene, a skin. Skins are pretty cool. Actually, what you can do with your skins is it changes the lock screen ring, changes your background, kind of changes the different colors within applications, the menu colors. So it's actually kind of nice. Mine's on Infinite right now. You'll see my lock screen ring has that different color, goes well with the background. So that's really nice, being able to change and personalize those things within your within the phone itself. I do like to do that a lot. You have lock screen shortcuts, home screen, lock screen style as well. So you can have productivity, photo album, friend stream, weather, people, clock, and stocks. So you have a bunch of different options there within that personalized setting. When you go into display inside the Galaxy S3, you don't have obviously that many, but you can display the battery percentage. So you'll see up at the top the battery percentage is coming in and out. That is because obviously you can change the two, which is really nice. It's a cool option to have. That's one thing that's really neat. LED indicator doesn't do as much as you think it does. Basically, it asks if you want it to light up when it's charging, have a missed event, or a low battery. Overall, though, I mean, you got just about the same. App Manager, display, power, which lets you know about your battery usage. And overall, that's really about it though. So settings wise, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Galaxy S3 for settings and features, just because they have this motion settings where you can do a bunch of different things such as direct call, where if you're in a text message, you put your phone up to your ear and it calls the person. You also have smart alert, where it catches missed calls and messages, tap to top, tilt to zoom. All these different ones, palm swipe to capture. I can take a screenshot by swiping my palm over. So there's many different software things that the Galaxy S3 has added that gives it a little bit more of an edge. But personalization, I'm going to go ahead and give to the EVO LTE. Obviously, you saw those awesome personalizations you can make. So I'm going to give that to the Sense is personalization, but I'm going to give Galaxy S3 for features. So, I mean, both have their pros and cons. I mean, obviously, it's more of a personal preference whether you like one or the other. Myself, after using both devices, I actually used to hate Sense so much when it was on Gingerbread, but Sense 4.0 is much better. It is definitely improved. I do enjoy it, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to TouchWiz. It's just something I prefer. There's really, I mean, obviously the launchers do about the same stuff. It's really the settings where you get it. You can add widgets, of course, to your home screen. Press and hold on your home screen. You'll see here you can scroll through all your home screens on the EVO. You can scroll through your widgets. You have to actually hit set a wallpaper or add to home screen, apps folder page, or you can go into your app drawer and go to widgets itself, and you'll see your widgets are here as opposed to holding on to your home screen. So it's a little bit different in both of them. I kind of like adding widgets on the on Sense a little better, just because you can go through all your different pages as opposed to just going on one and then dragging it somewhere on here and then resizing it. So overall, I mean, obviously you can add a memo, S-memo. It's a pretty cool application that you can add different memos and such. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Sense with widgets. I just kind of prefer the way that they handled it. Even though it's not in the app drawer, you can't go to widgets itself within the app drawer. You just press and hold on the home screen and add them. So it's personal preference. Although one thing I also like about the Sense is when I go ahead and press on an application and drop it on top of another one, it creates a folder for you. It does not do that on TouchWiz. I don't understand why they got rid of it, but it does not do it. It just doesn't create a folder. You have to go the slow way, press and hold on that home screen, and you can add to home screen, add a folder, not a page, sorry. But you just hit add folder, and that's how you do it. You can't drag apps on one another. So give the edge to the EVO 4G LTE there. Another cool feature though about the Galaxy S3 is when you go into messaging application or your contacts application, you'll see all your contacts come up. But what you can do is actually swipe from the left and you'll make a phone call, or if you swipe from the right, you could send a text message. So it's actually really cool that you could do that within this application. That's a nice TouchWiz feature. That's just something that the Galaxy S3 has over the EVO. It's just got all those little quick shortcuts over the EVO that I do like a lot. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the camera applications itself. They load up at about the same time. I mean, they don't take long at all to load up. They have a lot of different settings. Of course, you can change. You have self-timer options, your flash, your image resolution. You can have different HD display. One thing that I do prefer about the EVO 4G LTE's application as opposed to the Samsung's is you have a record button and a take picture button. But what you have to do on the Galaxy S3 is switch it over to video recording mode. So you'll see it takes some time to switch between camera mode and video recording when you could just take a picture or start a video. So you'll see it's definitely nicer to have that on the HTC EVO 4G LTE. Overall, I'm going to say right away, I prefer the camera on the EVO 4G LTE. Just taking pictures, the quality, I just prefer the EVO. Even video recording as well. You can see my two video recordings on the two. You'll see the difference between them, but I do prefer it on the EVO 4G LTE. So if I want to take a picture of this pen with both of them, I can. You'll see it has 0 shutter lag, so I'm taking pictures with both of them at the same time. So shutter lag's about the same on both. You'll see image quality is very similar on both. You can double tap and it zooms in on the pen. You'll see there, one zoomed in, the EVO's is zoomed in a little bit more, but image quality turns out to be a little bit better on the PC when I look over the pictures, so that's just something that I prefer, and I prefer the video recording of the EVO as well. So again, that's just a little personal preference of mine. Yours could be different, so be sure to check out the videos for yourself so you can determine which one is better or worse. Alright, one more thing I wanted to do is actually load up a game called Flick Golf. Just kind of a quick game I wanted to load up. See which one loads up faster, and you'll see both of them are loading on up. Looks like the Galaxy S3 is loaded up a little bit quicker. Hop into Quick Shot, and let's go ahead and tap on one. So I tapped them at the same time. We will see which one loads up. I mean, this is a 3D game, so you'll see. Looks like Galaxy S3 definitely beat the EVO there loading up this game. And it looks like they're going, but I mean, when playing games on both devices, it's very smooth. I mean, I haven't had any issues with games on either one of them, with it being laggy or slow, but and they look great on both devices. I mean, the 3D games both look really nice. So that's just kind of something real quick I wanted to show you guys. It's just playing a game on there, but I mean, that's really about it. That's all I wanted to cover in regards to development and rooting and flashing ROMs. It's something not a lot of people cover, but it's something I cover because I know my base is a lot having to do with that. But rooting the device and flashing ROMs is, in my honest opinion, easier on Samsung devices. I just have an easier time with them, and I find that other people do as well, have an easier time with Samsung devices over HTC devices. So I'm going to go ahead and give it easier to the Samsung device, just how to root it. You don't have to deal with a bootloader locked or anything like that. It's just, in my opinion, easier with the Galaxy S3. But again, it's an opinionated thing. Some people could have better luck with HTC over Samsung in the rooting and development scene. But let's go ahead and get into some final thoughts. My final thoughts, if I were to go to Sprint now, get a new contract, and get a device, I would get one of these two devices, hands down. There's really no other comparison. The Galaxy Nexus, now soon to have Jelly Bean from Sprint, is definitely appealing, but hands down, I'd go ahead and get one of these two devices. Let me tell you. And I would personally choose the Galaxy S3. This is just a personal opinion. After going over many different things with the devices, I myself prefer the TouchWiz user interface. I also prefer having a battery that you can take out. I mean, storage-wise, you do have only 16 gigabytes options on the EVO, but you have an SD card slot, but you do have 16 and 32 gig internal storage option on the Galaxy S3, but you do have a slot as well. You have more memory options on the Galaxy S3. You do have 2 gigabytes of RAM as opposed to 1 gigabyte of RAM on the Galaxy S3 as well. But I mean, as I said, the EVO 4G LTE screen looks better when you're outside. A lot of it is really based on whether you're a TouchWiz or Sense fan. I mean, the devices itself are pretty similar, but build quality goes to HTC. I like the design, not necessarily design, but just the looks of the Galaxy S3 myself. Real-world performance, though, both of them open-close applications, very smooth. You saw the benchmarks, the HTC EVO 4G LTE 1, but don't let that steer you one way or another. I'm not a big fan myself of benchmarks. Real-world performance, definitely both of them smooth. No issues at all with either of them. If you're someone that takes a lot of pictures, I'd recommend the EVO 4G LTE because of its awesome camera. It's just, again, I thought that it took better pictures than the Galaxy S3. Don't get me wrong, though, the Galaxy S3 takes great pictures. It's not like it blew it away, but it was just a little bit better with the EVO 4G LTE. So it really depends on your needs. My needs myself, I would go with the Galaxy S3. I mean, if you like the build quality of the EVO over the Galaxy S3, get that. But overall, my honest opinion, I would say get the Galaxy S3. If you do have a device such as a Galaxy Nexus or an Epic 4G Touch, I would say probably hold off on your upgrade for now. If you do have an upgrade and you're sitting on it, I'd probably hold off. I'm sure more awesome devices are going to come out probably in October or November before Christmas. That would be my guess. So I wouldn't necessarily say this is a revolutionary device, but it's definitely a nice upgrade, and Samsung and HTC are really stepping up their game with these devices. So be sure to check out both of them. Let me know what you think. Be sure to give me your opinion on which one you would prefer. Leave a comment. Be sure to subscribe to me. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. All links will be in the description of the video below. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up.